it was always the argument there was nothing to practice for. There was hardly any events for the ladies. The conditions that we were playing under, and one of the things that Ultimate Pool have done is given the opportunity to have plenty of events to play in and under the best conditions. And that, in turn, has seen a rapid increase in the quality of the ladies' game. So
this match, a race to 8, 50 minutes on the match clock, 30 seconds on the shot clock, dropping down to 15 seconds when we get down into the last 10 minutes of the match. All outcomes possible, definitive result, or if it was to end up in a draw and the match clock got down to 0, we would go to a 6-red shootout. First chance at the table for Marian.
I think that may actually be a factor. In all of our rounds that we've played to this, there hasn't been a clock, and there has been considered clearances and people taking their time and working out exactly what they want to do and cut into a 30-second shot clock, 30-15. Might see a difference in the quality that comes out, but like I say, both of these players, the final 2 frames that Marian took out in her semi-final against Kirsty Lee Davis were just unbelievable. Absolutely outstanding.
That looked to be a good quality match. We were dipping in and out of bits of it, and it seemed like it was going toe for toe the whole way through, and then Marian just got away at the end.
Yeah, I think Kirsty will have walked away from the match thinking, I'm not quite too sure how that happened, because there was a few opportunities that Marian had gone for the clearance, broke down on the clearance, but Kirsty had failed to capitalise. And I think if she was to watch it back, there were just that 1 or 2 shots that were, I want to say careless. It was just she will be scratching her head thinking, hang on, I should have probably won this match 7-4. But at the same time, I think once Marian got to 5-all, again, another slight mistake allowing Marian to see her ball, but she's potted a world-class shot up the rail to land on the black for 6-5, and then took out an amazing clearance. So thoroughly deserved, but I almost feel like it was against the run a little bit. I think Kirsty will be disappointed.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough outcome whoever lost that one. Just an issue with the timing, I think they're just rectifying.
And this was a common trait for some of the early part of that match with Kirsty. I think Marian was a bit disappointed there with that shot, because she's not run through as far as she wanted, and she was losing herself positionally for a while and having to rely on her amazing potting ability to get out of trouble. But it was one of the reasons why she was breaking down on the clearances. Another half roll there. Whereas Danielle, she was just dishing everything against Amy, wasn't she?
So she's going to have to go the long way with this positional shot. Oh, this is looking good. If it stops in time or it gets a good nudge. Oh, 1 roll short, and that was perfect. Now she's in trouble though. Well, she's not wasting any time. She understands she can't continue the clearance from there, so she's going for the safety. Frustrating, because as you say, if she just goes slightly higher up the table on the previous shot, then that's a simple position and she can't fail to be on it.
She could have even gone way too high, you know. I don't know whether she had a bad contact. I thought that when they stopped, it was to possibly clean the white ball, not the clock. So her reaction said it all, really.
Quite delicate now, because all the yellows bar 1 are in play. Always annoying to get in first, open up the table for your opponent and not make the clearance.
I get the feeling that, unlike Kirsty, the way Danielle, how composed she looked against Amy, I feel like she will capitalise. It's a good effort.
Yeah, kind of forced into that because there was no really good safety. If she just tied up one of her balls, the position was just going to get worse and worse. So all here for Danielle.
Wiped its feet a little bit, but the first opportunity to get her hand on the table. And I think her pattern play against Amy was probably the best I've ever seen from Danielle.
She's a previous winner Pro Series event, so she has had experience out in this arena of this kind of situation. Not as much experience in this kind of arena as Marian, but not so far behind.
Again, she was behind last night to Harriet, wasn't she? And came back and won that match 7-6. And then she's played Amy Beecham this afternoon. So confidence must be high.
And this is the shot. It's all about this one. This is the only pot on the table that's really missable from where she is. No problem though. Just a little bit hampered. Should still be okay, but should have loved to have not quite been behind the 8 ball. This has been confident, not just the fact she's potted these, but she looks like she fancies this clearance. Back in prime position now. Possibly slightly more important for Danielle the start than for Marian. Always nice to get a good start, whoever you are though. And this is absolutely ideal from Danielle's point of view. Okay, she was left a chance that maybe she didn't expect to get, but she's taken those out really nicely.
She's carried on where she finished off. Yeah. It's quite apparent, or we were saying she's obviously back on the practice table after that break.
Yeah, I mean, it's very impressive. She's back on the tour after having had baby Theo not so long ago. Both her and her partner, John McAllister, are here with the baby, and they've both had good weekends, so it's obviously suiting them well.
Yeah.
Nice to see. A bit of a family endeavour. They've got everyone here watching.
I think it's great to have her back. She was, as you say, she'd won an event. She was progressing. Her game was progressing really well, and obviously the break, as obviously the break's done her good. But she's back with a vengeance. So
Marian going with the front ball break. Previous times we've seen her in the arena, she quite often goes with that cut break, but it looks like she's mixing that up a bit.
Well, she started again in her semi-final against Kirsty with 2 front ball breaks, but she wasn't catching them. She was actually cutting across the ball. She was putting so much side on it and was basically leaving everything there for Kirsty. She then switched to the cut break, which became more successful for her. And she's obviously decided from the off that she's going to stick with that in the final. She wasn't having much success at all with the front ball break.
That time though, she caught it nice and flush at the front, and that's why she's got this chance.
Yeah.
Always very attacking, so good at clearing up, so going to see a lot of first visit attempts and likely a lot of first visit clearances. That world title in 23 was so dominant. I think everybody was expecting she was going to come over to Ultimate Pool and win everything going. She's had a lot of success, but she's discovered the strength in depth that we've talked about a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. She's an amazing cueist. She's a great potter. But there are a lot out there. And as you said before, it was maybe 4 people. It's now 8, and as Simon alluded to earlier, you've now got Colette Henriksen's joined the pro ranks. And there's so many good cueists and players who are capable of actually winning an event, because getting results is one thing, but winning an event is an art form in itself. And there's so many now that have actually done it. It's a little bit of a lottery now. I don't think you can consistently predict the winners anymore.
We saw this in the men's pro game, that certain players used to have a sort of mystique. Mick Hill, with all those years he was winning the world titles, it was as though people just didn't believe they could beat him, and they were almost throwing away matches. I think what you get when you have these formats when everybody plays everybody a lot, that they get used to playing the top players and they're not scared of them anymore.
Yeah, the mystery goes. It's people have periods as well. I mean, again, if you look at Harriet, sort of, I say the mystery, but the mystery has gone. It's like, wow, she is beatable, and I think that goes for everybody. Once they get 1 or 2 defeats, it sort of almost gives everybody a bit of hope, and it's like, why am I so worried, you know? Even I might win one.
You're definitely on our shortlist, don't you worry.
Getting too old now.
You're still batting. You had a good win this afternoon in the second event.
Actually, I played all right this afternoon. No, I think that the arena and the tables and the conditions, it's hard not to. It is hard not to. But again, you're almost getting to that point with the ladies. It's a bit like, I always equate it to. Again, I'm due to play Marian in the morning, and it's almost like the top 2. Say say it was Liverpool and Arsenal. Tomorrow Marian may win. It's a nice little nudge. Tomorrow Marian will win, but if we played again, I could win the next one. So it's almost a coin toss sometimes as to who gets off to the better start. But I think that shot from Danielle was quite underrated, I think, by people. It's just a nice little nudge. Just one good positional shot here.
Yeah, she's looking really good, isn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, she's always been a good player, but there's a consistency here. She just looks like she expects to pot all the balls. And that's often the battle. You've just got to convince yourself that you're good enough. Nice technique. You can see how still she's keeping everything apart from her cue arm. A lot to like about the game technically. And of course, that's the case with both players. Marian's also got a fantastic textbook technique.
Yeah, I was actually in the audience watching her semi-final against Amy, and she just never looked like missing. She didn't. The composure, everything about her game just sort of oozed the class. And you'd have to, going into this final, you would have to, having watched both semi-finals, you'd have to put your money on Danielle to take the title down.
Yeah, she's beaten some good players to get to this point. I mean, it's just such a tough school from match 1. It used to be that you might expect to have some easy matches.
Nah.
She got taken to a decider in the last 32. Jodie Allen came through 7-6. Had another decider in the second match in the last 16, Harriet Haynes. Then 7-3 against Casey Ranford-Norrie. And then that semi-final we're talking about, 7-5 against Amy Beecham. I think you almost feel there's some destiny to it when you get through a couple of deciders like that where you could so easily have been out.
Yeah.
You feel like your name's on it.
Yeah. And Casey's in great form. I mean, Casey she actually beat Megan last night, Megan Proctor, and was proper in form. She was playing really well. So to come through all of them, although the scoreline was 7-3, I think you said, yeah, Casey is definitely an informed player at the moment. So yeah, it's been a great couple of days for Danielle.
Time not really been too much of a factor. Both players playing quite quickly, so the shot clock hasn't been much of an issue. No guarantee that we're going to get to all 8 frames, so building up an early lead for Danielle will be valuable as we see one of the first misses of the match.
She seemed to just throw her arm at that a little bit, didn't you? It seemed a little bit rushed. But I don't think there's much damage done there.
Good view there of Marian's cue action. You see how arrow straight. Very difficult pot that. Well, just trying to go in or over that pocket, I think. Danielle has got an angle. She puts the ball bottom left. She can try and free the ball that's to the right of that.
It's just a decision whether you go into it or... Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's good control there. You don't want to be smashing into it and moving it around the table too much. Now everything links up quite well because she can just run this forward. Ball to the middle pocket. Links up, well, links up with all the balls depending on how she wants to play it.
Yeah, because I think she's probably going to be wanting that yellow up at the top to be her last ball, to be able to give herself the best odds to be able to take the black into the right centre. She just needs the right angle now from this pot to leave a nice angle on that yellow into the middle to be able to run up for that one. I think she may be able to run through off the side rail if he's too straight. It's hard to see from this angle. Yeah, it's almost...
Yeah, that's almost betwixt and between, isn't it? Because if you run through, you've got to nip into it quite well, otherwise it throws wide and you'll end up near the corner pocket. So try to force it direct. Red played quite large.
I do think she can, because it's so thin though, I think she can go up and down off of this. She's going to have to give it some pace.
Just got to concentrate on clipping this really thin.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good shot. Oh, if it misses. Oh, how's her luck? That's harsh. She did so well there. She did what she needed to, which was just to catch it wafer thin.
Yeah, because she still caught that quite thick, actually. She probably could have pinched more of the pocket than she needed, but it deserved better. It did deserve better.
It's the previous shot that led to that. She could have done with being slightly nicer on that.
Yeah, I didn't know whether she could have topped that through off the side rail and back out, but again, maybe it was just awkward cueing.
Oh, that's a bad scenario. Not just missing, but the fact she's lifted the red off the right side. And where the referee's just put the cue ball down is pretty much exactly where Marian's going to want it, because she's going to be able to take the ball along the top rail and then everything else waiting for her. And this is what she needs. She's watched her opponent clear up twice, and she's also watched her opponent just play really well. She wants to send a marker that she's in this game.
Yeah, she does.
That's a nice shot. I didn't have to do that, but just helped to get that red nudged out into open play.
She'd be hoping that red passes into the left centre, because to pot it and screw back, she is staying on that side of the table. Well, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you'd think she'd play it now if it did.
Yeah.
She's as good on it as she's ever going to get. I mean, sure, you can play on it and use it to come down, but is she going to get better on it than she is at the moment? Or is she going to leave it for later on? Well, I guess you can make a case for playing on it for the 8 ball, but it doesn't really seem necessary given the 2 balls at this end.
It's probably the best she could have hoped for, actually, because she can cut this ball into the bottom right and just come round off her 2 cushions.
digging deep in this, just trying to screw across off one cushion. Well, she's gone about this in a slightly unusual way, but she's keeping going.
This was the story of the semi-final, though. It was certain shot selections were a little perplexing. She's digging down again. She's not quite straight enough for her, but she'll take it.
I mean, hard to criticise. This has been close to perfection. It didn't necessarily look like it was the easiest route, but she's plotted these out well. And having watched her opponent win the first two, that's what she needed to open her account in this final.
She has done really well there. I think in the pattern that was happening in the semi-final was she was doing exactly that, but it was eventually she was chasing that far to try and regain the position and get that prime position that she was breaking down in her clearance. Obviously she managed to recover in that one, but I think it's something that she'll need to eliminate.
So we go over onto one of the outside arenas. We see Jo Prince in action. So this is the second of the two Pro Series events. Jo Prince up against Liam White. Liam White, he's had a very good weekend. He's looked purposeful from the off, and he's been scything his way through the field. But behind in this match, Jo Prince 2 to the good. Jo Prince has surely got to go down as one of the most improved players, both in the UK and the US. He's come through, qualified for pro status in the UK. He's also gone over to the US and been achieving some big results in some of the Ultimate Pool USA events over there. So as we get back to the action on the main table, Marian Jude breaking off in frame 4. She's obviously always going to focus on the quality of the hit. She's never going to be the hardest hitting player, but with that front ball break that she's started using a bit more lately, she's clearly just focusing on getting a good contact with the pack.
She is still, if you look at the white ball though, and the amount of spin on it, she's not catching them flush as we're used to watching her when she's breaking, front ball breaking. But obviously in this final it's worked for her in her first two breaks, whereas in the semi-final their first two breaks were just nothing, and she paid the price for it, hence the switch to the cut break.
That's another thing that's changed dramatically in the women's game over the last few years. The number of first visit 8-ball clearances has just gone up and up and up. So many more players now consistently clearing off their own breaks. You feel like it's going to be that kind of game. Marian's always very positive at going for a clearance if it's there. Obviously there may be some tactical frames if that's where the balls demand, but she's not someone to turn down a clearance if there's a chance of it.
I think she can just get through to that yellow that's just above the black there. But she is a super aggressive player. She's great to watch. Great to watch.
Yeah, it was a perfect result, that 23 World Championships. It's nice to have an international flavour to it as well. I mean, you've just got to give her credit, never mind the quality of the performance, but like the amount of travelling she's doing. The rest of us moan about driving from parts of England up to play in tournaments, but she's having to regularly travel over from France.
Yeah, there's quite a few. There's quite a few that have come over for this event. It's we've got Colette, there's Geraldine. No, I think it's great to see, and the Irish.
Yeah, good matchup here. Danielle hailing from across the Irish Sea, although based in the UK now. not the worst way to have missed for Marian, because she's tied up one of the balls. So Danielle's got out one. She's got one on the left-hand side now to sort out. Actually in quite good shape for that. She's got this ball over the left centre, which will be ideal. She may have to play the other ball first to get slightly better shape.
Yeah, I think just run this through an inch or two, and then looks like she's got it now. Going to top this through.
Do you try and play this delicate and leave the red there, or do you get into it with a bit of pace? Well, crucially, you need to get into it. I guess that's the first starting point. That's annoying for her, because now she hasn't got another good ball that she can get on from where she is, so she's got herself into a bit of a problem.
Can she manufacture an angle? Oh. Well, that might not be the worst of outcomes for a miscue.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, it could have been a foul, which would have been a lot worse. Hasn't knocked the ball safe. Hasn't left an easy position to go at. It's got two decent opening balls, but the question is obviously the same one as for Danielle. It's that cluster on the left-hand side. That's a pretty good shot from where she was. She snookered Danielle on both balls at the top of the table. Well, in fact, may have snookered her on all three balls on the table. She'll just get through to the edge here.
She's just bending it slightly.
Played that well.
I think Marian will play the same shot again now.
It's a bit cagey at the moment, because no one really wants to be the one that opens up that cluster unless they're sure they can do something with it. Two good swerve shots Danielle's played. She's actually got an angle to screw down the table, but I don't know whether you'd want to play. It's going to be very difficult to judge. Look at that.
It's a great shot. But again, she's not. There's not many options for her, I think. Again, she can't really hide at this point. I think she's going to try and run off this and go behind. Oh, I don't think that was what she was attempting to play there. I think she was stretching, and the clock was running.
Yeah, she was just trying to thin off the edge of that and run back in behind the red. She was hoping it would cross over, I think.
Yeah.
That's the worst case scenario, obviously. Now she's put that dead. Marian can afford to be a bit more attacking. I mean, she could play it another safety. You almost feel that with that one ball dead, she might look to try to promote this ball, not necessarily off this shot, but bottom left.
Well, again, looking at where the reds are, why couldn't she bump the yellow next to the red out now and leave the white ball at the bottom end of the table? You know?
Well,
she can bump it now and leave the white ball. And that's a good shot. Because even if Danielle was to be able to play that up the rails, there's no way positionally she can get onto the other red.
No, the fact she's so close to it as well, she just can't play through it with a load of pace because it'll be a push shot.
Yeah.
So she's got a problem because, I mean, she could try and screw back and leave the cue ball wedged between yellow and cushion, but then she probably ends up in a worse position than the next shot. Doesn't want that going in, although even if it doesn't go in, it's not a great situation.
Something's amused Marion.
Yes. If she can't hide her joy, the fact she's been left this open position. I suspect it was something that was said rather than. Looks like she. Well, you'd think if she played the ball over the right pocket, she could get a position. Doesn't want to cannon into the ball over the right pocket. How she could avoid it. Yeah, well, that's turned out fine. So a good chance now to get back on level terms. This is her natural habitat, isn't it? When she's got these kind of clearances, she just looks so confident.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, everyone loves these particular clearances, but generally when she's in open play, she can run this around 2 rails if she wants to get closer or just stun out.
It has eaten into the clock, though. This frame in particular has eaten in, and there's going to be literally just over 23 minutes left on the match clock. So
yeah, it's been a slow start to the match, although it hasn't really felt like it. It's actually flown by. It's been entertaining stuff. It's just that last frame, as you say, just got a little bit scrappy. Let's have a quick talk through Marian's route to this final. She beat Ashley Dinsmore 7-4 in the last 32. Adrienne Flitcroft-Hurst 7-1 in the last 16. Emma Parker 7-3 in the quarters. Before that epic semi-final encounter, 7-5 against Kirsty Lee Davies. A lot of pools been played. See a different format from in the women's series a couple of years back. We had that group format, so everyone played a lot of matches there and then a knockout. This is a bit more focused, just straight into it. But you're straight into it against other good players, which is the difference in this tournament.
yeah, but the races are longer, so they're races to 7 from the start, whereas the groups were only races to 5, and then even in a knockout stage. So it's falls more in line with the men's professional side. So that's a monster break again from Danielle.
Yeah, she's really smashed into those, and she's going to be happy enough with the outcome. Both players with a lot of support in the room. No doubt a lot more support online as well, back in France and Ireland respectively. Danielle comes from a big pool playing family. Her sisters and her mother, very good pool players as well.
Just a small family, yeah. I don't think she wanted the nudge, but she's still come out okay. And that's really good cueing, because when it's a blind shot like that, and it is a shot as well where if that doesn't go, you've got to fancy Marian at that point to clear up. That's probably an underrated shot. And again, it's just that one shot that's letting her down at the moment. To plant on.
Yeah, she may have to. It's not ideal, obviously, but what else is she going to do? She may have to play this with a bit of pace as well, because she's going to need to bump the second red out. Wasn't so much that shot, it was the previous one that got her into that trouble.
And it is such fine margins at times, isn't it? It's the frustrating part about it. You play a sublime shot, and then the next thing you're thinking, really? What? Well, that's the story of my life most of the time nowadays. But yeah, it's so frustrating.
That was a good opening shot, because Marian might have hoped to be left a slightly easier starter. Playing it in a confident way. She's not going to be tempted by the clearance though. Playing sensible percentage pool.
Yeah, it was quite noticeable when she was playing Kirsty. There was not so much from Kirsty as well. A lot more thought, a lot more, not as we're used to Kirsty and Marian. They literally can put anything off the lampshades, but it was a lot more controlled and a lot more. They were not going gung ho at all. They were just almost like you're making sure, and I think that's a sign of the standard getting higher, because gone are the days where you might get 2, 3, 4 shots visits. You make a mistake, that's it, it's over. But
Well, given what a mishit that was, that could have turned out a whole lot worse, because
even
though it's clearly a foul, she's left this yellow in an awkward spot. Marian calling the extension. She needs to think about this. She's trying to think whether she can push this yellow through far enough to get it in off the red. And I'm not sure if she can.
I think she can play that shot, but play it expecting it not to go and push the red, and that she could actually achieve another snooker. But she's obviously going to push it down off with the red here, and that's a nice. Oh. And that could have come out a lot nicer for her.
Yeah, she's going to be surprised coming to the table that she didn't have an easier clearance. She's got a bit to do. Those reds aren't quite as tied up as they used to be either.
No. It was a clever little shot.
Yeah, she'd love ball in hand again, wouldn't she? That would really resolve matters for her. Shouldn't really get it. It's not too difficult to hit, just off the one cushion. Oh, that's a bit unlucky. She's left Marian on the yellow. Although
she's coming away though. She goes into the middle. She's playing into the black. Almost full ball, isn't it?
May be able to plot this yellow direct past the red, in which case that works pretty well.
And that yellow goes into the centre, doesn't it?
Yeah, this has actually turned out pretty well now. She's got a good angle to come back up the table. Used her extension already, so just rushing over. There's no extra time out to retrieve equipment.
Couldn't have placed that better yourself with your hand, could you? And especially with the pace of these tables, that was made to look ridiculously easy, and it's not.
Yeah, that kind of shot, you look at it and think, well, they just rolled it in, but actually you can end up a foot or two past where you want to be. Both players have played some good stuff in this frame, but it's Marian that looks like she's going to clinch it. And clinch it she does. So, having slipped behind at the beginning of the match, Marian Jude edges ahead, 3 frames to 2. 34 minutes played, 16 minutes remaining on the match clock. So time is definitely going to become a factor as we get into the latter stages of this game. Don't know if either player was going to love the 15-second shot clock portion of this match.
No.
Entertaining for us to watch, though.
Oh yeah. It's okay when they're there, but if you need that extra time to think, and the amount of times you'll play a shot, and then as you're walking away you go, oh, that was just so wrong, but you didn't have enough time to for your brain to work, So Again, it proves for good entertainment value.
Yeah, and it's been used quite sparingly as well in this format. We're only seeing a few minutes of it at the end of the main arena matches. So, persevering with the same break she's used twice already. Marian Jude breaks off in frame 6. And what you've commented on a couple of times, just not quite getting, you can see the spin on the cue ball and the fact it's squirted off to the side. But actually, in terms of a layout, she couldn't ask for any better than this.
That's a wow, isn't it? But again, like Simon said when we were commentating on the semi-final, the best breaks are the scuff breaks. But if you could deliberately do it, then it would be perfect. But the yellows look absolutely beautiful here.
Well, she could have done without that.
Yeah.
Bit careless there. Just didn't want to hit that red quite as hard. Didn't want it travelling anywhere where it could cause a problem. It's not an insurmountable problem, but it's just left a bit more accuracy required. She very much wants to leave the yellow over the left middle as the position onto the 8 ball, but now got to find a way of landing nicely on that ball that's just covered up with the red.
I do think she can, just in general open play, but it's got to be so perfect. I think she can use it from the one that's over the right middle.
She'd be really annoyed with herself if she didn't clear from here. That was as close to the perfect layout as you could ever see after a break.
And again, I don't think she's quite got the right angle on this one into the bottom right.
Well, she's still going, but she's making this look a little tricky. She's potentially got an angle off the one on the right to open things up on the left, but she's going to go off the... Well, what's she going to do?
Well, she obviously feels that she can get through to the yellow. Again, maybe the camera angle's tricking us.
Well, that looked about as much as I thought she could see. I don't think she could quite see enough of that.
I think she could see more than that. I think she was obviously concerned about the red.
So, an unexpected chance for Danielle. It was a good break from Marian, but just it was the first shot really, just knocked that red in amongst the mix that she didn't want.
For a shot that, if you missed, that's frame over, and would put you 4-2 with 12 minutes left, she's cued that like it was just sitting over the pocket. That's cueing like a dream.
Yeah, both players have just got down and nailed shots that they just look so confident. That was a much simpler shot, which has actually played less well, but can still retrieve the position. What does she do with the 8 ball? Does she leave that and try and play it in off the yellow that's over the left middle?
I think the double, but I'm just wondering whether the red that's on the left-hand side of the table, whether she can get on that so that she can play that into the right centre off the yellow and push the yellow into the black. She'd have to play it at pace, but that could open that up.
So this one just needs to get a hold of the cue ball, screw over to the left-hand rail.
I think she's going to have trouble getting on that one for the shot I've just mentioned. She's too low on the one into the top right.
Yeah, this frame so far has been a tale of undesired cannons. Both players have caught balls they didn't intend to whilst potting other ones and made their position harder.
I still think that the reds there are fine. Oh.
Well, we didn't see that miss coming. It felt like the issue was how she got nice position on the 8 ball. She's not got to that stage. She used the yellow over the left middle to get better position. She's obviously on the ball below the 8 ball now, but I don't know how attractive it would be to play it from. Well, she is going to play it from here. This positionally is definitely the option, but it's a missable pot.
I think she's overcut that.
Well, she's relieved to see that drop in.
I think the pace has just allowed it to, but I don't think she can see the yellow over the left middle.
May have to slice this fine, go around 2 rails and come back for the one over the left middle.
And she's played that, she judged that really well.
Well, for a clearance that was a complete roll-in after the break, both players have gone about it in quite an adventurous way. Good for the audience, though. 10 minutes 40 on the match clock, so after the conclusion of this frame, we're going to be down to the 15-second portion. As we enter that last 10 minutes of the game, it's Marian Jude that's 4 frames to 2 ahead. Good start from Danielle Randle, and she's played some good stuff, but she'll be annoyed she slipped behind at a bad moment in the game. Vicky Lomax coming to offer some helpful support in the middle.
Mad as a bag of frogs.
I guess this is what you'd expect and hope for a Saturday night. There's always going to be a good crowd in. Vicky Lomax is usually enjoying herself whatever time of day it is, but a Saturday night is ideal for this showpiece final.
Just don't give her the microphone.
Danielle not enjoying herself quite so much because she's got to claw back a couple of frames to get herself into this game. Plenty of time, 10 minutes still remaining.
Plenty of time. She will be frustrated. The quality she's played in the last 2 days, yeah, she'll be really disappointed with the way the final's gone so far, so hopefully she can pull something out now.
Well, she got off to a good start as well. It's just slipped away. Oh, surely she's not coming up dry there. Ball's threatening the pockets all over the place, but nothing finding one.
But also a little bit messy, which eats the clock, which is what you really don't want. You'd rather they just cleared up than you go again quickly, you know, but they are pretty messy.
Marian's not normally one to go looking for a safety game. She's certainly not at a point where she's defending the lead, but equally, as you say, she's not going to be unhappy with a scrappy game.
No.
And frankly, it's not obvious what you would go for. It's just an awkward position. So plays the loss of turn. That's a loss of turn because she's hit one colour set and potted the other on an open table. So 15-second shot clock now in play, so we're going to hear those pips quite a lot. Well, that's a time foul.
It is a time foul.
We saw in the last challenge semi-final there were 2 very close decisions. The referee had to review the first one a number of times. It wasn't a foul in the end, but Jack Schofield got very close. That time Danielle did overuse the time. I think it's always that transition, isn't it? Once you've been playing at the 15 seconds for a while, you get into the rhythm. It's just when that shot clock first starts, it really creeps up on you.
I think the problem is you literally have to play on instinct. You haven't got time to think, and if you change your mind slightly, you'll just get caught out. It's horrendous, actually. Let's be honest. It's absolutely horrendous.
It's exactly that, though, about the not being able to change your mind. Once you see a shot and commit to it, you've just got to go with it.
Yeah. Whatever your gut's telling you, you have to go with it, even if it's wrong. The amount of times I've watched some of my matches back on a 15-second shot clock and thought, well, I look like I've never played the game before sometimes. You're like, what were you thinking? Well, you weren't. That was the problem. You just get scrambled, you know.
This has been good for Marian. A shot before last when she had to force out from the ball down the left rail. She judged well. got a good angle here. Naturally going up the table. It doesn't really matter if she ends up quite high up the table. She'll have access to the remaining yellow.
And you feel like she's really opening her arm up now. You know, she's got that lead.
Yeah, this is a position she's good at as well. She's won some big tournaments. She knows how to close out these kind of winning positions. And it's certainly not done. 7 minutes is more than enough, but a 3-frame lead does play very big at this point of the match.
Yes.
And a 3-frame lead she has got. She got off to a bad start in this match, but she's really turned up in these last few frames, looking increasingly confident as we enter the last few minutes of the match. Let's take a look over at the other feature table where we've got our final of the Challenger series. This is the Challenger Tier 2 final. Richard Browning 3-2 up on Jason Crozier. Been a lot of tournaments going on. It's quite hard to keep track of all the Challenger ones. Got the men's Challenger event split into 3 tiers, 2 events for each of them.
Marion Jude beaten by 5-2.
So as we rejoin the action on the main table, frame 8, Marion Jude breaks off with what must feel like quite a comfortable 3-frame lead. Again, not the best contact on the pack. Cue ball spinning a lot.
If I'm Danielle right now, I'm aiming for all I've got in my head is 6 red. 3 frames in 7 minutes you can do, but I'm thinking you've got your target has got to be trying to get to a 6 red. I think with the time that's on the clock, you can't be thinking about winning it.
There's a certain simplicity about this position, isn't there? She's just got to come to the table, clear up quickly. There isn't really actually much to think about beyond the immediate clearance. She knows she can't afford to get involved in a slow game. Oh, how's the luck here, though? This isn't good. This isn't good at all.
I feel like she's certainly not quite had the rub during this final at all. The little nudges, the little kisses, the little...
Marian's not going to be in any rush to do anything here. She's quite happy to play the snooker. Oh, where's this yellow going? So Marian's not going to be able to do much here. She's just going to play off this red, try and leave the white either tucked behind the red or screw it back in behind the yellow. Calls the extension, and she's quite happy, frankly, to use up any time available on the clock. She's just got to make sure she doesn't leave an open position here. Anything that takes Danielle a bit of time and involves playing a safety shot is fine. I think she may have left the ball along the bottom rail.
I think she has.
That's a misstep if she has, because now there is a potential clearance on. Now this time Marian's got to come to the table, compose herself and take a little bit more time. Even if she was just to waste a minute and a half potting some balls, that would be valuable with a 3-frame lead.
Yeah. And again, if you think back, Danielle was 2-0 up, and she had that very thin cut into the top left-hand pocket to go up and down for the black, and unfortunately she did it too thick, and then she didn't get out the snooker, and then since then, when I say she's not had a look in, it's as if all of the run and all of the spin has turned. And also, don't get me wrong, Marian has been playing some really good stuff. But it just goes to show you that even during the course of a match, in a short space of time, you can go from total control
It feels like if you were asked to describe what had happened in the last few frames, like you'd be talking mostly about Marian. It seems like she's been at the table so much more.
Yeah. And she has played really well. She has played really well.
But she has missed there, and Danielle now has got these balls. She hasn't got... Oh, where's the cue ball? Surely not. Surely not. Oh, that's a catastrophe. That's as close to the match being over. She can't quite believe she's found... She was trying to get hold of that, obviously screwing it over to the side cushion above that yellow, but just hasn't quite got into the cue ball enough. And now, Marion Jude, nothing to stop her clearing up these balls. There'll be sub 2 minutes remaining on the match clock if she does make that clearance. No way back from there. If this is the end, it's going to be a shame for Danielle because she's played so well up until now, but you really can't take much away from Marian. She's been pretty much flawless in this final.
Yeah, she's had her little gentle touches. They've literally been sublime. And then I've done the commentator's curse, put the mockers on it.
Oh, that is sublime. That is absolutely sublime from that
It's
angle.
A great shot. Even Danielle's tapped her leg on that one.
Well, she's missed the 8 ball, but she's done all the hard work and she's done enough. Danielle, in fact, is trying to offer her hand. She is going to concede the match. She knows there isn't time left. Marion Jude wins another Pro Series title with a fine performance. Danielle Randle started off very well in that match. Looked like she could go on, but Marion Jude just got a foothold at the beginning, and then once she got going, she really motored through the rest. What a quality performance from Marion.